In this video, we got a 91 Cadillac Brougham, and we're going to bring it back to life. This one has been sitting for a while, so as they say, a rolling stone gathers no moss. Well, this one gathered 7 years of moss. It was parked originally due to the transmission failing. So with the parked vehicle, the mice tend to get into it. Luckily, they did not get into the interior. I don't know how that happened, but they went through the hood. They chewed through the fuel lines, chewed through wiring under the hood, I guess all the engine harness wiring, and a Cadillac with lots of wiring that's been sitting for 7 years. Probably gonna have a few issues. I also found that the spark plug wires were gone through, but I'm just gonna do cap, rotor. They did make a nest in the air filter, and which essentially destroyed a lot of the workings inside the throttle body. So I'll have to tear that apart, do gaskets, and rebuild that. Luckily, I did purchase a shop service manual, as this car has a lot of wiring in it, a lot of wires, a lot of workings, and I figured, went on eBay, I think I found it for 20 bucks. Thought it was a great bargain for what it was, and I just keep it in the trunk of the car so I always have it. All right, finally got all the stuff, all the parts shipped in, so I'm gonna start knocking off on our few items on our list here and see where we get. What we're going to do is we're going to try to repair the wiring that we can. We will run this car, prove that it starts first before we actually tie up all the wiring. So I'll get some wire loom or whatever to cover that wire when it's all finished, but see if I can find all the spots that the mice have chewed on. They chewed through all the spark plug wires, so it is beautiful, but I can show you a couple. We got a few loose wires right in here that I gotta figure out where that goes to. Just stuff that's bare wires running through here that I'd like to wrap back up so we don't have any wires rubbing through and causing other shorts. So, and then I also got this will be a fun one to do. This is for the power antenna. Of course, the wiring on the actual motor itself is way down inside here, which is impossible to get in. So it looks like I've only looked at this for a minute, but looks like this fender is gonna have to come off to even reach that actual power antenna modules, because the antenna is actually broke off here. All right, we have a connector that has been chewed on. The wires have been chewed off by the mice. So I have the extractor tool here, and I will pull the connector out and we will recrimp the wires on there to complete that. And actually there's several other wires in here too that I need to follow. I do not have a wiring diagram for this yet, so I ordered up a shop manual, and hopefully that does come with the wiring diagram for this car, which it should have from everything that I looked at. So that is what the next project is, so we'll get started on that right now. Alright, now that we got this out, I don't know, it's probably kind of tough to see in there. I'll try to get some light in there, but you can see it's getting it was pretty corroded, so we'll get this all cleaned up and put it back on. We still got some wiring issues to take care of on the car, but it'd be nice to see it start. So here we go. Throttle body is got all new gaskets, all cleaned up. We'll put that in, and guess that's one less thing off the list. Kind of funny, I guess the fuel pump, of course, had to go out too, I guess, or it went bad. The mice had chewed through where the oil pressure sensor is down by the filter, and from looking in the manual, that also looks like if you lost oil pressure, it'd cut the fuel pump to kill the engine. Don't know if that's true or not, but just looking in the manual, that's what it looked like, kind of how it was. But as you can see, it's definitely corroded. The fuel was old in there, so rinse that out and clean that out. have a door lock issue. Door lock actually wouldn't unlock and lock the door. Well, took the door apart, figured out that part of the door latch mechanism actually had cracked and broke. Luckily the piece was still in the bottom of the door, so tried to look for one on eBay and did not find anything, so I just went right to the shop and welded the tab back on, and it actually is still holding, so a guy can't complain about that. I know earlier I thought the fender had to come off, but I actually figured out how I could swap the antenna without pulling that bugger off, because that looked like a bit of an undertaking for an antenna. Actually, if you look, you can pull off a few of these screws here, and then there's a panel, plastic panel underneath here that you could pull off, and you could actually work right up underneath the panel. I mean, it was a little bit, I had to pull the tire off, put the jack under so I could lay under there, but it actually worked out really good. Just had to be a little patient. The mast of the antenna was broken and I could not find a replacement mast, so I just went with aftermarket. I know the stock one is flush mount, but it's an antenna. Wasn't gonna get too picky over that. I can always save all the pieces. I can always put it back in the future, but it works. And then of course, the first couple hours we had it, the amp went out on it, so don't even have a radio after all, so it was not a wasted effort, but it was sure an effort that I probably didn't need to put into it. This part was actually the first time it has been fired up and driven. And that's when I noticed the mice chewed through the fuel line. I guess I didn't catch it when I was looking through the engine stuff. I don't know how I missed it, but I guess there's plenty of things under the hood. Yes, I just gotta fix one thing. I must have the gear selector off a little bit because it starts with it going forward here. So. All right. Well, it runs.